Good evening. Thank you so much for joining for what is now the bi-weekly Ask Me Anything live stream. It's New Orleans real estate and lifestyle. Since you're here, I suppose that you know me, but just in case, my name is Richard Hébert. I'm a real estate advisor with Engel and Völkers, New Orleans. I've been doing this for quite a while now in terms of real estate itself. And then this is actually our second ever live stream. So I'm so excited to have you here. If you have to check out at any moment, or you want to go back in and rewatch anything, all of these live streams will be nested on the website that you're watching from. So whether you're watching it on Facebook or YouTube, they will live there in perpetuity. So feel free to go back and rewatch. Please feel free to share. I actually have a very special guest here in person in the studio. You're actually in my house right now, but I have a very special guest today. A lot of people may know her, or you've seen her name on our different webinars. Maybe if you've had the honor of meeting her, that's great. But I would love to give a warm welcome to Liz Wallace.
Hi, everyone.
So Liz is also a licensed advisor at Engel and Völkers, New Orleans. She's been one of my dear friends for many years now, and we work together. So you will see her name quite a lot. She's a wonderful person and a wonderful real estate advisor. Liz will be in the comments along with me. And so if you are wanting to participate, or if you see anything pop up from Liz, that's who she is. And she's a real person. She's not an AI chatbot. She is a real, live, and glorious person. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we dive into everything. This is the format of a live stream. If you're not familiar, maybe you've seen them on Twitch, or you've seen them on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching from. But the format is totally loose. This is a free form, fully interactive, community-driven platform for you to ask questions, engage with the community that we're slowly building here. So if you have anything that you would like to ask, you can drop that in the chat box. If you'd like to just say, hey, can you talk a little bit about a certain topic? We can do that as well. So please engage over there, converse. That will help us drive the conversation. And we want to make sure that this is as helpful as possible and totally custom to everyone who's watching's needs. So along with that, a couple other things that I would like to cover. Please, you will see a QR code up here. If you scan that, it'll take you to my website, which is richard.hebert.realtor.com. On my website, there are a ton of resources for buyers, sellers, people just curious about the market. I have a very robust blog with a lot about gorgeous luxury listings across the country through our Engel and Völkers network. They have some really beautiful stuff over there. That's also where you can book a one-on-one consultation with me. So it's totally okay if you don't feel comfortable, or this is a totally new format for you and you're not sure how, if you're comfortable getting engaged, you can always book a one-on-one consultation with me through my website. So you'll see a calendar on multiple pages over there, or you can jump right ahead. Let me actually change this over. So if you want to go ahead and go directly to the consultation booking page, the new QR code that just popped up right there will take you directly to the booking page. So we can set up a 30-minute, hour-long, one-on-one consultation. It can be in person at our beautiful new shop located on Magazine Street, 2844 Magazine. We have free parking. So come meet us there. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'll talk about a couple other upcoming events where you can come see us IRL in person over at our beautiful new shop. We can do a Google Meet, we can do a phone call, whatever works best for you. And that's no obligation. I'm here to offer you free advice, sounding board, whatever that is. I'm here to support you in that way. So that's something else that we have to offer. And then we are growing our YouTube channel. I'm really, really excited about this. Over the next week alone, we've got some amazing new content coming out. So please don't forget to like this stream and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That'll keep you updated with everything that we'll be doing. As of right now, there are a few educational videos on there, along with a number of short videos that are entertaining and fun and educational. But we've got some really gorgeous home tours coming. I'm very excited. This weekend, I'm filming with Commander's Palace, the famed restaurant here in New Orleans on Washington Avenue. So I'm filming with their sommelier, Dan Davis. So we're going to talk a little bit about holiday wines. Then also next week, I'm going to be filming with Eclectic Home. Eclectic Home being located on Oak Street, our former headquarters. And we're going to meet with Penny Francis, who's an absolutely extraordinary designer and home decor absolute guru. So she and I are going to film next week, and we're going to talk about sort of your home shopping guide, things to buy for the home. And then last, two final plugs. Please don't forget to follow me at richard.hebert realtor over on Instagram. We've got a lot of good stuff going on over there. And then also those IRL opportunities I was talking about earlier. We have this Saturday evening, December 6th, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. We have the Santa Champagne Stroll on Magazine Street. That's part of the Magazine Street Merchants Association. It is super fun. Great way to kick off December. I'll be there in a costume. I'm not going to spoil it yet, but it's not a small costume. And we will have giveaways. We'll have goodies, champagne. So come see us at Engel & Völkers New Orleans, our beautiful new shop, 2844 Magazine Street. Again, that's Magazine in Washington, as well as go see all of our wonderful neighbors. So many of the Magazine Street shops and restaurants, everybody will be open from 5 to 8 p.m. Stroll up and down. I don't know, light my Dolly Parton candle and hope that the rain stops in time Friday or Saturday for that to happen. And then, because like this last live stream was really successful, we also had a surprise pop-up Coffee with Your Advisor event that was a few weeks ago. And I'd like to invite you to, we are now calling it Home Brewed, and that is going to be a free coffee event. Coffee is provided by Alinea Coffee Roasters, a local independent coffee roaster that's also going to be at our shop, 2844 Magazine Street. And that will take place on Saturday, December 13th from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30. What is this event? It's literally free coffee. You come by, say hello, check out our gorgeous new space. We can answer questions. We can get you a new global guide or the GG, which is our beautiful Engel & Völkers magazine. Love to get a copy of that in your hands. But more importantly, because it is finally so cold and so dreary outside, we'll get a warm cup of whatever coffee you want. Michael at Alinea does every type of coffee possible. So that's it. That's it for all the plugs. We'll probably do another round before we wrap up. But with that in mind, remember, please drop your questions in the chat box. That's really going to be what drives this. It's going to be really helpful to keep things going. So please do engage there. That will drive the whole conversation. But one thing I really want to talk about tonight is a little bit. This is obviously real estate focused because that's what I do for a living. That's also what Engel & Völkers and Engel & Völkers New Orleans is all about. However, I also want to talk a little bit about the holidays. I know that everybody is, it can be a little bit of a challenge to get into the holiday mood this time of year. So we can share some of your favorite holiday traditions. So if you don't mind, I see that we have about 7 or 8 guests right now. If you don't mind just sharing what your favorite holiday tradition is, whether that's in New Orleans, whether that's traveling, whether that's with your family, I would love to hear that. So be thinking about that and drop that in the chat. I love this. My wonderful client Janae is with us today, but she was able to text me a question. She said, let's see here. I have a question that goes back to your last email regarding second inspections. What happens if the roof was new and supposedly certified as fortified? If it comes back that there's issues, who does that fall in since they have to follow specific guidelines? I realize that this could be an extreme outlier. I think we may see more of that over time, Janae. Thank you so much for your question. We may see a little bit more of that since fortified roofing is still new. And please, if you are not signed up for my newsletter, please feel free to reach out to me so that I can make sure that you're getting that newsletter. Every so often, the Fortified Roofing Grant Program goes out where they're offering $10,000 grants to Louisiana homeowners to put on fortified roofs. So back to Janae's question, what happens if the roof was new and supposedly certified as fortified? If it was certified as fortified, they will be given paperwork that says that it was certified fortified. There's an interesting, and what makes a true fortified roof is not just the materials, but it's actually the process of how they put it on. So for it to be a true fortified roof, of which you will have much documentation proving that it's fortified, there's really no way to fake a fortified roof because throughout the process, the fortified roofing contractor is required to take geolocated photography every step of the way throughout the process, documenting the materials used, the skill set used, kind of everything about the process. So that is a really good question. If a seller is saying that the roof was fortified and it's not actually, the way to find out is they don't have the paperwork. That's the first way. And I would push back. That's misleading. So I would include that if that is something that comes up in your inspections. Remember that there is a second round of negotiation that takes place after your inspections. So if you discover that something was misleading or you were misled in any way or something was misrepresented by a home seller, that is something that would be negotiated. So it's not like it specifically falls on any one person. That's tied in with the rest of the negotiation. So that's what I would recommend is say, hey, you presented this as fortified. You don't have the documentation for it. Then in that case, if you're not willing to have a documented implementation of fortification, then of course you can either have them do that. And if they don't agree to do that, then you have every right in Louisiana to cancel the contract and receive your deposit, your earnest money deposit back. The only money that you don't get back in that case is if with the cost of your inspectors. So that's kind of the big one. That's around, I would say in general, the full cost of inspections is about $1,000 to $1,500, depending on the home type, the home structure, the home size. If it's a duplex, if it's multiplex, whatever that is, it can vary based on that as well. So that's a really good question that I've never gotten before. So I appreciate you asking that, Janae. People love cookies. Olivia likes cookies. Olivia, I think that's actually Rachel, because I'm pretty sure Olivia is at a holiday party, maybe decorating cookies tonight, as I heard. And then our shop loves to bake cookies and deliver to the neighborhood friends. That's right. This is a total sidebar. We have just loved moving into our new location on Magazine Street. It is such a hub of activity. I'm there pretty much every day. I was right. Hi, Rachel. I'm there pretty much every single day. We always have our wonderful office manager, front desk guru, Hallie is at the front desk, usually Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. You'll have a flurry of advisors at different times. We have a mean coffee machine. So feel free to pop in anytime if we're there, which we should be generally Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, a lot of times outside of that as well. Please feel free to stop in, say hello, grab a cup of coffee to go. Like, that is totally fine. We want this to be a shop of the community. That's why we call it a shop and not an office. So we would love for you to stop in and join us. And actually, our license partner, Scott, as I see in the comments, is our EV NOLA real estate representative tonight. So thank you so much for joining us, Scott. It really means a lot that you're here. If you haven't met Scott, he's here pretty often. Okay, Grape Judas, Sippin' Santa. Oh, that's Tootie, I think. Question, is there a platform or resource that has up-to-date info on current loans or unique lending terms? I really struggle to find a singular hub for current loans, unique lending options. I would say that your real estate advisor should be that person. So each lender is going to have their own set of offerings in terms of mortgages, lending. They call it loan products. So just like you have, most lenders will offer conventional loans, FHA, which is first-time borrowers, VA, which is for veterans, and then there are some other ones like a 203K is a renovation loan. They also have an FHA version of a 203K loan. Most of these lenders will offer that, but different ones have different programs, and they can change quite frequently. I know Hancock Whitney. Last time we were on the live stream, we really dove deep into the majority minority census tract conversation and some of those opportunities that were available to buyers, where you could put as little as 0% down, some down payment grants up to $9,000. So I would say I'm going to be on the lookout. I think that's a fabulous question. If there's a singular platform or resource that would have up-to-date info, but I do think that your advisor, who should sort of be, and I would love to be your advisor, should sort of be the hub of all of these different lenders. I talk to all of my different lending partners, sometimes multiple times a day. I get their emails throughout the week. So I keep an eye out and I try to stay as up-to-date as possible, as we do at Engel and Völkers New Orleans. We bring in folks pretty regularly to talk about their new products. So I think that is something that if you're looking for the most up-to-date terms, connect with your advisor and then let us be sort of the sorting hat in a way to match you with a lender who may offer the best program specifically for you. I think that is a great question. There are, I would also say subscribe to my newsletter. I'll keep plugging that. It's a blend of fun and informational. This Tuesday's newsletter was all about the biggest mistake that I see homeowners make. I'll tell you about that in a second, but we also talk about, we've got the champagne stroll coming up on December 6th. That's this Saturday. Come see me in a goofy costume, maybe make a fool out of myself, but that's not entirely out of the ordinary. So yeah, subscribe to newsletters. I'd love to have you there. I do a weekly interest rate update. The interest rates do update on a daily basis. Sometimes they can fluctuate within the day, but that's a great place to start, is by connecting with your local real estate advisor. Hopefully me. All right. Let's see. We've got another comment. Becky. Oh, spoiler alert, everyone. My mom's here. Hi, Mom. My mom wants to know, do I expect rates to go down any in 2026 and the pros and cons of refinancing in this market? That's a great question. Thank you, Mom. So I would temper everyone's expectations on interest rates, period. I think, do I expect them to go down? If I had a crystal ball, that would make my job a lot easier, but I don't. But I would say that interest rates are projected to decline in 2026. But I think the most recent decrease in interest rates has people thinking that it's going to be some type of absolute windfall decrease. Like it's going to be something that's going to bring us back down to the threes. It will happen quickly or something like that. I don't foresee that happening right now. We're bouncing around that kind of like mid-lower twos. I think we're going to find a soft interim landing around, not twos, sixes. Oh my God. Scratch that. Walk it back. We are currently in the mid to low sixes. And then I can see in 2026 us stabilizing around that 6%. Now, granted, program specifically, product specifically, and individual borrower specifically, you're going to have a different rate than what you see advertised. So just because you see, 5.2% on Rocket Mortgage advertised, that may not necessarily be the case. And also, please work with a local lender. They know our market. And then they know our market. And also, Rocket Mortgage, online lenders, a lot of those tend to have really enticing kind of teasing rates that they advertise, and then you get down to your actual fee sheet and your closing disclosures before closing, and you realize that they baked in some hefty fees that make up that difference and kind of sucker you in. So pros and cons of refinancing in this market. The con is the rates haven't fluctuated a whole lot. We haven't come down really far. So let's say you bought at the highest of interest rate, like you closed the day it peaked, you're looking at 6%. 7% at the highest, maybe just over 7%. We started getting some real murky territory for a little bit there. But if you purchased at that, this may be a good time. I think the general rule of thumb when I've talked to clients and lenders is that you want to see, to make the refinance worth it, it may be best to wait until you're at least a full percentage point away below where you were when you initially got your loan. So if you bought at 7%, kind of want to get it to 6%. If you bought at 6.5%, you want to bring that down to 5.5%. Because just like when you originally purchased your home, with a refinance, there are mortgage fees associated with that. So origination fees, it's kind of like paying again for a new mortgage, but you won't have the real estate transfer costs, which is insurance and taxes and that kind of thing. So be thinking about that. And the con is that you just may be too eager, doing a little bit too quickly. I think there's a lot of uncertainty in the market in general. So if you have a monthly payment that is comfortable for you, it may not be worth the risk of going ahead and refinancing. I think the risk would outweigh the reward in that situation. So I would, again, I'm going to always say this, be sure to talk to your real estate advisor. And in this case, more importantly, your mortgage lender. I have some fabulous mortgage resources and wonderful local lenders that I'm happy to connect people with literally anytime. Just shoot me a text. My phone number, I'm going to go ahead and post it here. My phone number is 504. It is 617. And it is 5184. That, my friends, and it is all over the internet. And I get plenty of spam calls, but I want you to have my phone number. It's 504-617-5184. That is my personal cell phone number. So if you want to ask a question anytime, if you want to give me a call, set up a meeting, anything like that, call me on the line. Call me any time. Call me. Ben, if you don't know Ben Seward, by the way, Ben Seward is probably the single most, I think I can say this with great confidence, that Ben Seward is probably the single most gifted real estate photographer that I've met. Ben is the owner, proprietor, and creative genius behind Good Bones Photography. If you've ever seen any of my listing photos, many, if not most, if not all of the Engel and Völkers New Orleans Advisors listing photography, it is truly a cut above, and that's Ben. So special shout out to Ben. If you ever need anything done, whether you have like a vacation home that you need photos for or something like that, please reach out to Good Bones Photography, and that's Ben. And Ben asks, how long until you're able to take your broker's test? Well, I'm eligible. I just need to find the time to study, and then I get to be an associate broker, which I don't know what the benefits of that are just yet. So right now we're focused on this kind of thing instead of studying for a broker's license test, but I am in fact eligible. All right. Any questions before we start looking at some other stuff? I would love to hear. This is one that this is an age-old debate that I really support everyone fighting on. Are you a real tree kind of person? Are you an artificial tree kind of person? Or are you like not a tree person at all? I'd love to hear from you. Are we real or are we artificial? Do we have allergies? Do we have pets? Oh, thanks, God. Bragging rights and the team's respect and admiration. Well, I better get to studying then. All right, so let me know, real tree or artificial? Let me hide this. And don't forget, here's that. If you do want to book that one-on-one consultation at any point, that website is on the ticker now on the bottom of the screen. And if you're watching on mobile, if you see the vertical version of this video, it should be up at the top of the screen. But go to richard.hebert.realtor.com/consultation. It has a live, like real-time calendar availability on there. So if you see a time on there that works for you, take it because it syncs with my calendar. We'll book it. If you don't see something that works for you, that is okay. All right, 2D wants it real, gigantic, and gaudy. That is honestly 3 adjectives that I identify with too. Real, gigantic, and gaudy. Liz supports a 100% real tree. And Rachel Oh, yes, I know about the kitty cats. Rachel supports a real tree, but they don't have a tree because of the cats. I think that lends itself to a really good cat compilation online. Cats pulling down trees. That's always a hit with the Instagrams and the TikToks. So let's see here. There is one thing. So let's talk a little bit about how do I get ready to buy in New Orleans, in Louisiana, across the board, whatever that is. This is a great question. Before I dive into that, thank you so much, Tootie. When should I service my HVAC for the winter? I think, personally, and my brother married into a family of HVAC specialists, so I think I'm pretty good at this. When should you have your HVAC serviced for the winter? I would say that at the transition of you should have it serviced twice a year. Every 6 months you should get it. I don't think that there's specifically a time that you should do it for winter, but I think it should be as the temperatures start to switch. So when you notice yourself using the heat fairly regularly, like we're coming up on it now, looking at the forecast, like the next 10 days are cool temperatures. When you start to see yourself settle into that temperature for the season, that's when I would recommend it. And then coming out of spring, that's when I would recommend doing again. Once you start to see yourself cooling again, that's when I would recommend it. So in New Orleans, it may not be exactly every 6 months, but I would recommend an HVAC servicing and cleaning twice a year. And at the major switches between, we don't really have a fall here, but if we did summer to fall and then winter to spring, that's when I would recommend it. And make sure that you get a servicing and a cleaning. What are the differences there? A servicing will do a reading of the full system, make sure it's running functionally. It's a bit like an inspection. They're going to make sure that your Freon levels and your coolant levels are good. They can top that off at the same time, let you know if you have any leaks, because over the winter, that's when you can notice that leaks can begin to form in your coil. And then the cleaning is really important. The cleaning will take place mostly around the condenser. If you're not familiar with an HVAC condenser, that's the big boxy unit outside that's got the fan, looks like gills on it. I would recommend having it cleaned as well. They'll make sure that they'll take the cover off. They'll get down in there, they'll pluck the leaves out of it. They shampoo it. I mean, it looks like they're doing the rug, but they'll shampoo it and they'll wash it down, because air intake and airflow is so important. If you're kind of like me and you wait to turn the heat on for as long as possible, then if you start to see, this is another good time to do it, or a good earmark or benchmark for when to do it for the winter. If you see a number of leaves, dirt, and debris collecting in that condenser, that's when you want to do it, because you want to make sure that system can get air in, get the air processed, and get it put out into your home. That also removes, a lot of people don't know this, but the condenser or the HVAC system, besides heating and cooling, one of the most important functions, and I will say this again for the people in the back, one of the most important functions of an HVAC system is to remove moisture from the air. And we live in a swamp. It's all moisture. So if you want to make sure that your air, your home, your interior is staying nice and cool, but also dry, it's preventing a ton of different moisture issues that can develop. Make sure it stays cleaned and serviced. So do that twice a year, or when you notice that leaves and stuff are building up, or if you notice that your system is running a little bit slowly. That's when I recommend doing it. And make sure it can breathe. It has to breathe. So thank you for that question, Tootie. So how do you get ready to buy in New Orleans? I have another very special guest in 2 weeks. It's going to be on December 19th. That's exactly 2 weeks. Let me make sure it's the 19th. Hold on. Let me stay honest here. I think it's the 18th, actually. It is December 18th. So exactly 2 weeks from tonight, December 18th, it's a Thursday at 6:30 p.m. We're going to probably start moving these around a little bit to catch people who Thursday nights might not necessarily work perfectly for. But in 2 weeks, we're going to have Leslie O'Neill of Movement Mortgage On here, she's a New Orleans native, but she currently lives in Orange County. She is a mortgage loan officer with Movement Mortgage. She has been a long time lending partner of mine. She's done many of my family members, many clients' homes, many friends. She's just a fantastic resource, incredibly smart and incredibly skilled at what she does. She's going to be on the live stream in 2 weeks. She's going to be joining us live from Orange County. We're going to talk about preparing to buy in 2026. If you are sitting, I think Scott, he's on here somewhere, said something really funny. Somebody was asking about, preparing to list your home in around the holidays, where the pluses or the minuses. Well, what we know, and Scott even said this, is that you will never, I don't think there's a better time to realize that you need a different house than around the holidays. So you've got all the family members in the house and you've got kids running around everywhere, and you realize that it's getting too cramped in there, or you have too many people in your house and you want to downsize so you don't have to host Christmas or Thanksgiving ever again. This is probably the time that you're starting to think about that. So in 2 weeks, if you're thinking about wanting to buy in 2026, what should you do over the next 30 days? We're going to talk about that December 18th. I'm going to send that link out to everybody. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow on Facebook, Richard Hébert Realtor. Make sure you follow those and I'll get that out to everybody. So we're going to do a specifically talking about financing and preparing to buy in 2026. It's going to be about. Still going to be a total open Q&A, and Leslie's an incredible resource. And I'm just so honored that she's going to be joining us. But if you're getting ready to buy in New Orleans, the first thing that I would recommend is actually, because we're saving the finance stuff for in 2 weeks, or whenever you book your consultation at this link running across here at the bottom, I would say getting to know the neighborhood that you want to be in is so important. New Orleans is an absolute treasure trove of these smaller neighborhoods that make up the fabric of what people think of when they think of New Orleans. And each one of these neighborhoods has such an identifiable like vibe to it. So I would spend the time, especially around the holidays, and I'm going to tell you what some of my plans are for the holidays. I would spend this time around the holidays where there are events going on, to go around and make sure that you enjoy what we're going to be doing soon as part of our A Perfect Day In series, is explore each neighborhood that you are curious about by having a breakfast there, doing some type of fitness or outdoor, some type of activity in that neighborhood, grabbing a good lunch somewhere there, do a bit of shopping there, and then have a dinner at a place that you like and an after dinner cocktail. If you spend one day and do each of these 6 things, I think you will know if that's the neighborhood for you. So grab a breakfast or do a breakfast, any type of fitness or activity-based thing, then grab a lunch, do some shopping and walking around and sightseeing, then grab a dinner, grab a cocktail after dinner. You're going to know if that's the neighborhood for you. All right. Lindsay says, what are some of the misconceptions about buying or selling a home that I've encountered? Y'all are hitting with these questions tonight. Let's go. Round of applause for these questions. That is a great question. Let me think on that for a second, because there's so many misconceptions about it. Let me think about that. One of the biggest misconception about buying and selling together would be that it's combative. I can only speak for the New Orleans market. I've worked with a ton of incredible agents across the table, and I would say that the biggest misconception is that it should be someone wins and someone loses. That's just not how it should be, kind of, period. So it is the way that I approach real estate and working with other agents across the table, with working with clients across the table. I've also been dual agent in transactions where I've represented both the buyer and the seller on a property. But I would say that there should be an emphasis on collaboration. That people, whether you're a buyer or a seller, if you go into a transaction trying to win out over somebody else, unless it's multiple offers, but unless you're trying to win out over the opposing party, you're going to lose in the end. It is totally collaborative. There are certain agents in town, I will not name names today, but you come across, I mean, there is a reality about that, but I don't believe in that reality, that this should be one party wins and one party loses. We have a shared goal at the end of the day with everybody involved in a transaction, and that is to trade keys across a closing table. And that can't happen without both parties' engagement. So I would say that's my biggest misconception about it, is that it's combative, or it's kind of a thing of opposition, that it's super competitive or it's aggressive across table. Yes, you will run into people like that sometimes, but no, that's not how it should be. We can get incredible things done for both parties, buyer and seller, by working together for the best outcome. That's my thought on that. Other misconceptions about buying, I would say the biggest misconception about buying, I would say that once you get the key to the house, that you're never going to have to do anything to it. I think a lot of people misunderstand buying a house, or that we try to prepare our buyers for this as much as possible. And we're actually rolling out some exciting new things like a buyer boot camp that I can tease today. But we are rolling out some really exciting opportunities to help people know that once you get the keys to the house, yes, it becomes your responsibility unless it's a brand new construction home, and then there are a series of warranties. But that when you get those keys, the house is not going to stay perfect forever. So remember that when you get the keys and you're buying, you need to be preparing and budgeting. And that's what I'm here to help you with. If you have not watched my Louisiana homebuyer webinar on my YouTube channel, that's from June, and it goes through the entire process. And we also talk about budgeting for repairs. And also remember that, yes, you can close on a house, and then the next day the HVAC can go out. The next day the dishwasher a plumbing line can burst. That can happen. I've seen it happen. I hate to see it happen, but it can. And then biggest misconception about selling a home. I think right now the biggest misconception about selling a home is that you can price it like they were priced in 2021 and get away with it. Not to sound too sassy there, but you have to be really realistic about, you're looking at your home through rose-tinted glasses because you love it. You've created memories there. It's probably been very good to you, and it holds a very big emotional piece in your heart. But there are certain realities of the market and of buyer tastes that we will face, and we have to have honest conversations about it, and we have to have realistic conversations about it. So in terms of selling, I think some people think that they can just name a price, not do anything else to support that price on a house, and then go from there. So I would say that that's sort of the biggest misconception, is that you can throw the spaghetti at the wall, and if you put it out there, somebody will buy it. They will, but at the right price, and the right price is not the price that you wanted for it. And thank you so much, Lindsay. Yes, Lindsay actually was and sorry to keep moving you around. I think I have the AI on this thing. Give me 1 second. But Lindsay was my very first ever client years and years and years ago. So it's always an honor to have you here. Any questions about that? How do I figure out what the right price is? That's a great question. Thank you, Scott. How do we figure out the right price? So to figure out the right price, I'm going to be a broken record here. Collaboration, research, data. Those are the three things. And by collaboration, I mean using the data and the research of the market. There's something called a comparative market analysis, which is where we go off of. We use the data from your home to compare it to sales within your geographic location, or I would say maybe in New Orleans, your similar location. in a way, because New Orleans, we know it can be like one block is like Taj Mahal, and then one block is commercial or industrial in some way. Like we have these weird crossovers. But we, as your advisor, will deep dive the data in your immediate market to see what other homes are selling for, because at the end of the day, you have to pass an appraisal, which is done by a third party who will use this, look at the same data that we do. So we'll put that together. We'll pull all of the data. I use a platform that I absolutely love. I think a couple of folks on here, we've looked at them together, but it's a platform called Cloud CMA, where I put together all of this data, make some recommendations, and you can actually click around and see the homes that were similar to yours. We'll then make some adjustments because you may have just put in an absolutely show-stopping kitchen. You may have something that is shockingly difficult to price in New Orleans is a garage. Not many people in New Orleans proper have traditional garages. So we'll make adjustments based off of that. And then we will come talk to you, see if you as the seller have a price in mind. So before we disclose what we think, and this is just the way we do it, every advisor might have their own process. So we love to hear from you what you were thinking in terms of price, if you had something in mind. And then on the back side of that, we'll share what we were thinking, compare, collaborate, and make sure that we land on a home that is the right price. And what I mean by the right price is it may not be the highest price, but it may be pricing your home competitively below market value if your need is to sell more quickly, like if you are relocating for a job or you want to purchase another home as quickly as possible. The right price is not necessarily market value. I wish I could just put that across here. But the right price is not necessarily market value. The right price is a collaborative effort driven by the data that we gather and present to you as a seller. And then we work together to find the best option. And we also look at homes that are currently on the market. Who is our competition? I think a lot of people forget to look at that, but we will also look at what our competition is. If, Sally Mae Sue, your neighbor to the left, also has her house listed and they're very similar, we might want to underprice Sally Sue over here so that when buyers are like, well, why would I buy Sally's? It's been on the market longer. This brand new one's on here for $10,000 less. I'll buy it today. So that could be another reason. And remember, at the end of the day, anything's intrinsic. Well, I wouldn't say intrinsic value, but the market value of anything is only what someone's willing to pay for it. As an avid Antiques Roadshow viewer, I watch Antiques Roadshow constantly, and I always compare it to real estate. Is you can watch what the appraiser gives the value on, and then you can watch it go to auction. And for better or for worse, those can be very different numbers. So that's how we figure out what the right price is. And also, once you go to market, we're very receptive to change after going to market. Like if we go to market and we're not seeing the outcomes that we're wanting to see with the listing, we will make adjustments as it goes. So we'll have conversations of, hey, we're not getting showings. We want to alter. I wonder if I have some clients I think might be joining tonight. And we actually had a really cool meeting at our new shop, 2844 Magazine Street. We had a meeting recently at our new shop, and we wanted to see how we could get more competitive with things in terms of their listing. And we have all this awesome new marketing that's coming out of it. So if you're working, if I get the honor of working with you on your home selling process, we will be able to pivot. I think of it as having real estate agility in a way that if we need to adjust the price, if we need to just adjust the positioning, we're doing more now where we're identifying kind of target buyers. Who could this work for? Now in the MLS, and we have to follow fair housing guidelines around, this is perfect for, such as there's certain things we can't say, but we can target certain markets like snowbirds. This is a fantastic time of year. And I'll tell you about our Engel and Völkers network, but this is a fantastic time of year to be targeting people who are in frigid climates for a home that could be a fantastic winter home. That's exactly who my clients were when they bought a condo here. And that's exactly who we're targeting now. Now I'm going to, blow a little smoke up us real quick, toot our horn here. But one of the great ways that we can do that is through our Engel and Völkers network. We are a global company, but we're locally owned and operated here in New Orleans through Engel and Völkers New Orleans. But we think of them as sister shops. So across the country and across the globe, we have amazing opportunities to market your home across the board. Like it's amazing. So for instance, with this property, I'm reached out to folks in our New York shop, folks in Chicago, folks in Maine. That's where my clients are from. We're able to put your listing in front of other people, other markets that, of course, everybody's listing goes out on Zillow and Redmond and Trulia and Realtor.com. But to give you a competitive edge, we're putting it in these shops, in these beautiful, which you need to come by and see us this Saturday from 5 to 8 p.m. for the Champagne Stroll. But come by the shop and see what I'm talking about, because we have these beautiful, they're called exposés, where if you come and you look in the front of the shop, we will put it in front of all of these different markets and send it specifically to them to cross advertise. So we can do it there. I can do targeted advertising in different markets based on specific interests, like people who like snowboarding, or people who like, one way to work around it is I want to market to people who live in New York but are LSU fans. That could be a great place for a snowbird, someone who has a connection to our market, but is living in another market. Because if they're not looking for a house, they're probably going to know someone who is looking for a house. So that's a great way that we are able to collaborate across markets globally while still being locally owned and operated, and this intrinsically involved in our community. Okay, that's enough about that. That's a bit of a soapbox. Any other questions? We've got plenty of time. If we don't have any questions, I'm going to tell you about this. You like that Beau Rivage mug? It's very EV coded. And I have to give a special shout out if Janae is still on the stream with us. Janae recently sent me some homemade homemade tea, and it was absolutely delicious. I got to make that, and that really made my day. It was chilly and gross and miserable, and then I had lovely tea from a lovely client. All right, so how do we create demand? We've got about 11 minutes left, so I'm going to give this 5 minutes, give a couple minutes and I can stay on as long as possible. If there are ever questions that come in, I will stay on until they are all answered. But how do we create demand in the first 72 hours of listing? I'm so excited to share that we have a number of new media opportunities available that Liz and I are developing, that also you may have met Jake Watts at our office, who is not only one of my colleagues there, but also my partner in life. So we have been working on some wonderful new digital media opportunities, but Ben Seward of Good Bones Photography, who you met earlier, we make a splash with his beautiful listing. It's listing photography. It's very captivating. We also use 3D tour technology as well as drones to really capture the home. It's really amazing to make that splash. But what I have found is that because there's so much inventory in the market, what we're starting to do now is to make what I'm considering a cross-channel media blitz. That's going to be, we have filmed our first ones and they're currently in editing, but guided home tours on YouTube. They're going to live on YouTube, but be completely shareable. These have an element of virality to them, so they're super, super shareable. People eat up New Orleans, so we want to make sure that we get that out in front of people as much as possible. So it's going to be a combination of my goofy personality walking you through the home and highlighting the beautiful features, but also really gorgeous video. It matches that Engel and Völkers luxury branding, but also imbues the spirit of fun in the tour. We're also doing new types of content around speed tours. You may have seen a couple of those go out on my TikTok and Instagram, as well as YouTube shorts, where we're doing tour this home in 1 minute or less. That's a big part of the content push. People have really responded well to that. And then the other thing is, you may have seen it. This is something very crazy that happened recently, but I had a French Quarter condo listing that taught me the value of strategic partnerships. So if you have not followed it, I recommend following For the Love of Old Houses. It's a Facebook and Instagram page with millions of followers. And for this French Quarter condo listing that I have, I reached out to them. I said, hey, I have something I think might be right up your alley. What do you think? Would you be willing to post it? And they did. It did okay on Facebook. It did pretty good on Facebook. We got about 1,000 likes on it, which I was just tickled as a peach. However, the craziness kicked in when it went live 2 hours before our first open house. And that Instagram post, if you go over to my Instagram account, it should be the pinned post. So it should be listed there first. But as with that single post through a strategic partnership with For the Love of Old Houses, based specifically on this listing itself, we had 800,000 views on that one post alone. And we have, I think we're right at the door of, if not passing the threshold of 20,000 likes. So it's pretty crazy what we can do with that to identify partnerships. I have a house coming up on Monday, a listing that I am absolutely so excited about because it's 2 roundhouses on one lot with a separate studio efficiency. It's just the coolest thing ever. So I've already reached out to Zillow Gone Wild. I actually talked to Ben a bit about that. So I think that would be a perfect fit because you're looking at the property, identifying who the target audience should be or the target buyer, putting together that profile, making the comprehensive marketing strategy, video listing, copy in the listing description, making all of that line up to imbue a sense of personality into your home, and then turn around and connect that package that you've created for that home, take that package and send it out to people who can amplify the reach. In this case, For the Love of Old Houses, and also hopefully coming up, Zillow Gone Wild. So that's how in the first 72 hours, we can make an absolute splash. And it's working. It's working. That's the crazy thing, is when you get a goofy idea and it ends up working. So any last minute questions until I do a bit of a recap and we'll talk about the next events that are coming up. It has been such an honor to have folks here with us for this whole time. There it is on the screen, Richard at Richard Hebert Realtor. That's my Instagram. That's my Instagram and Facebook. We are Real Estate New Orleans on TikTok and YouTube. You're here now on my YouTube, so don't forget to subscribe. That's really going to help us grow. We're putting a lot of love and energy into this. Like I mentioned, we have a feature with Commander's Palace coming up that we're filming this weekend. We have a holiday gift guide coming up with Eclectic Home on Oak Street that we're filming next week. We've got home tours coming. We've got a lot of fun stuff. We've got more education coming. I kind of slipped and spilled the beans a little bit there. I've told a couple people about it, but a home buyer boot camp is coming. I am so freaking excited about this. This is going to be a study at your own pace, watch on your own pace, video and companion workbook kind of situation of companion workbook and video series that you can sign up for. It will have a dedicated support texting line, and it will take you through everything you need to know, from thinking if you have the spark of an idea that you want to look into buying a house. It will walk you through everything from, like I mentioned earlier, identifying your neighborhood to getting financially ready, connecting with an advisor or real estate agent that you mesh with. It's going to cover everything, all the way through to other stuff that we talked about tonight, which is continued home maintenance, budgeting for home repairs. What does the process look like? What does the title company even do at the end of the day? Like, we're going to pull back the curtain on all of that. And I'm so excited about that. I'm hoping to have it done and ready by the new year. So if you're making it your New Year's resolution to buy a house in 2026, well, baby, I'm going to have something really special for you. I am so, and as always, any resource I ever mention or bring up or develop will always be 100% free, complimentary, no cost, no charge. I fundamentally believe that everybody should have access to this information and this knowledge. My door is open. So please remember, let me pop this back up. All right, richard.hebert.com/consultation. My door is open. My calendar is open. My phone number, again, is in the chat. Let me drop that again. That is 504-617-5184. You can call or text me anytime. That is a direct number for me. I would love to chat with you, even if you just want to ask a single question. Please also remember, referrals are the heart of our business and they mean the world. So if you know of anybody, beyond yourself that might be looking, that might have some of these questions, please feel free to connect us. Please recommend the channel. Please subscribe. Even just a like, subscribe, and share of these videos is so deeply appreciated and super beneficial in the word getting out, because we really believe in, I would say, Liz, we believe in looking after our clients, taking great care of them, and making sure that they feel well looked after, because we believe that you will be most empowered in your home buying journey through education. So that's why, really at the core of what we do. Coming up, thank you so much, Tude. I really appreciate you joining. That means a lot too. As a recap, we have a lot. Let's go ahead and talk about 3 things coming up that I'm super ultra excited about. This Saturday, December 6th, at the Engel and Völkers New Orleans shop and all along Magazine Street, is the Santa Champagne Stroll. That's going to take place December 6th, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Come see me in a costume. Come grab a glass of champagne with us. Enjoy the beautiful sights. I told you I'm going to light my Dolly Parton candle so it will not rain that night. And then thank you so much for stopping in, Scott. We've got the week after that is Saturday, December 13th. We've got Home Brewed. That is Coffee with Your Advisor. Saturday, December 13th from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Also at our shop, 2844 Magazine Street. That's right by the corner of Magazine and Washington, next door to Sake Cafe. And then lastly, and that's also in partnership with Jake Watts at Engel and Völkers, so special shout out to him. An extra special shout out to Alinea Coffee Roasters. Michael will be there brewing again for Home Brewed on December 13th, Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Stop by, grab a coffee, warm up, go shop, have fun. And then lastly, the last thing I'm going to plug as we wrap up here is in 2 weeks from tonight will be the next live stream. That's December 18th, 6:30 p.m. right back here on the YouTube channel. So please subscribe or sign up for the newsletter. You can do that by using the contact form. That's a good idea, Mom. I'll talk to you about that. My mom just said we should do a Christmas light tour of New Orleans neighborhoods. I think that's a fabulous idea, and we will do that. Thank you. So 2 weeks from tonight, next live stream, December 18th, Thursday, 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Again, with special guest Leslie O'Neill of Movement Mortgage. We're going to talk all about what you need to prepare to buy in 2026. That'll be the last live stream of the year. It'll be right before the big holidays and then New Year's. So again, thank you so much for joining. It means the world. If you have any questions at all, or you want to watch, please reach out. If you want to watch a replay of this or go back through any other sections, the replays are available both on my Facebook page and at Richard Hebert Realtor, and on my YouTube page at Real Estate New Orleans, and follow me on Instagram at Richard Hebert Realtor. And I hope you have a fabulous night and stay warm and stay dry. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.